The fans have seen enough. Week after week, they've watched the Cleveland Browns throw away winnable games on the back of sloppy quarterback play. And now, after getting humiliated by the Detroit Lions, the verdict is in bench Joe Flacco and give someone else, anyone else, a shot. Social media is in flames. Sports radio is in full meltdown mode. And even the usually patient diehards are asking the obvious question. Why is Shedeur Sanders still inactive?
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
You can feel the frustration boiling over. Because Flacco hasn't just been bad, he's been a liability. 6 interceptions, 8 turnovers in 4 games. The man is moving like he's stuck in 2012, and Stefanski is still out here acting like it's a good idea to roll him out there again. Fans aren't just mad about losing, they're mad about wasting. Wasting talent, wasting potential, wasting a season that still had a chance if the right changes were made. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about the optics, about watching a young, talented quarterback like Shedeur Sanders stand on the sidelines while the same old mistakes keep playing on loop. About seeing your team refuse to evolve while the league moves forward. Sanders has been clear. He believes he can compete with some of the current starters in the NFL. And when you look at what Flacco's doing, that's not arrogance. That's common sense. The fans want change, and they want it fast. Some are calling for Dillon Gabriel to get the first crack, which makes sense. He's got a mature game and showed flashes of promise. But if Gabriel falters, you don't go back to Flacco. You go forward to Sanders. Because it's time to see what he can actually do in live action, not just warm-ups. Sure, the O-line isn't perfect. There are injuries. There are risks. But quarterbacks don't develop in bubble wrap. They develop under fire. They learn by doing. And every excuse not to play Sanders just sounds more like fear than logic. This fan base is loyal, but they're not stupid. They know when a coaching staff is playing scared. And Kevin Stefanski, he's on the verge of losing the trust of the people who've been through everything with this team. Because when you've got a roster this talented and you still can't figure out your quarterback room, people are going to stop blaming the players and start blaming the people making the decisions. Play Sanders. Or play with your job. That's where we're at now. Kevin Stefanski had options. He had a young, confident quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, fresh off an elite college campaign. He had another rookie in Dillon Gabriel waiting for his shot. He had a defense playing at a playoff caliber level. He had fans begging for something, anything different. And what did he do? He stuck with Joe Flacco. Again. And the result? A 34-10 humiliation against the Detroit Lions that didn't just expose cracks in the Browns' offense. It cracked the entire foundation. At this point, it's not just about wins and losses. It's about judgment, leadership, vision, and Kevin Stefanski is failing all 3 tests. Let's stop dancing around it. Joe Flacco is no longer capable of carrying an NFL offense. Not in 2025. Not behind this offensive line. Not with his age, his arm, his mobility, or lack thereof. In just 4 games, he's thrown 6 interceptions. He's turned the ball over 8 times. And every one of those mistakes has been more costly than the last. The offense isn't stalling. It's regressing. And still, Stefanski keeps rolling him out like it's 2012. The excuses don't work anymore. You can't call this veteran stability when Flacco's decisions are costing you drives, momentum, and games. You can't sell the locker room on experience when that experience is leading to backbreaking interceptions. You can't keep talking about protecting young quarterbacks when you're exposing the rest of your team to the fallout. Because the truth is, there's talent here. Real talent. Shedeur Sanders is more than just hype. He's got pedigree, production, and poise. This is a guy who threw 37 touchdowns and completed over 74% of his passes in college. He's not just confident, he's competitive. And he said it himself. He believes he's better than some of the starters currently playing in the NFL. Well, he's not wrong. He's certainly better than what we're seeing from Flacco right now. But instead of even letting him suit up, the Browns have made Sanders a ghost on the depth chart. No snaps. No second-team reps. Not even a fourth-quarter handoff in garbage time. You're telling me there hasn't been one moment in the last month where Shedeur Sanders could have taken the field? This is a franchise that's spiraling, and it's refusing to grab the lifeline sitting on its own bench. And if the plan is to try Dillon Gabriel first, fine, do it. Start him. Let's see what he can do. That's the logical next step if you're hesitant to toss Sanders in immediately. But again, Gabriel hasn't played either. So what exactly is the strategy here? Because from the outside, it looks like Cleveland is stuck in a loop. A quarterback with no upside is burning through snaps. The team is sliding out of playoff contention. And two rookie quarterbacks, both of whom could actually be part of the team's future, are just watching it happen. You can't develop quarterbacks if they never play. You can't evaluate talent in theory. You can't prepare for the future if you're clinging to the past. This isn't about a loyalty to Flacco. It's about fear of change. And fear is not a strategy. It's a trap, and it's dragging this team under. Stefanski's job is to manage the roster, to lead the team, to make tough decisions when it's obvious the current plan isn't working. That's what head coaches are paid to do. And right now, his refusal to act isn't just a misstep. It's turning into full-blown organizational negligence. What's even more frustrating is that this roster can win. The defense is still elite. The receiving core is functional. There's enough talent to compete in the AFC. If the quarterback play is even average, instead, it's the worst in the league. How do you waste that? How do you look at a team this capable and say, yeah, let's go with a guy who's giving the ball away twice a game, and then have no backup plan? That's not just a coaching issue. That's a front office failure. 2, where's Andrew Berry in all this? The general manager drafted Shedeur Sanders. He brought in Dillon Gabriel. He watched the tape, saw the talent, signed off on the picks, and now he's just watching his coach ignore both of them? It's one thing to protect young QBs. It's another thing to act like they don't exist. At what point does ownership step in? Because the longer this goes on, the more fractured the locker room becomes. Players notice. They know who's performing. They know who isn't. And when a coach keeps rewarding failure, trust erodes. It starts with frustration, then silence, then side-eyeing, then finger-pointing. And if you let that culture set in, it doesn't just kill this season. It poisons a rebuild. Shedeur Sanders doesn't need to be a savior. No one's asking him to come in and throw 5 touchdowns a game. What people are asking is, why hasn't he been given even a chance? He's got NFL traits. He's got confidence. He's got leadership. The only thing he doesn't have is a coaching staff willing to take the training wheels off and see what happens. And time is running out. You can't wait until week 17 to find out if one of your rookie QBs can handle the pressure. You can't stall development because you're afraid of mistakes. Because guess what? Mistakes are already happening. They're just being made by the wrong quarterback. At least let the rookies learn while they're making them. At least let the fans believe you're building something. Right now, this is just treading water while the ship slowly takes on water. All because the captain refuses to steer in a new direction. The Browns can't afford to keep letting Flacco throw away games. They can't afford another month of let's wait and see. That window has closed. If this staff wants to salvage the season or their credibility, they need to act now. Start Gabriel. If he's shaky, move to Sanders. But do something, because doing nothing, that's not leadership. That's forfeiture. And let's be honest, Stefanski's leash is shrinking fast. This isn't just one bad decision. It's a pattern of conservatism that has haunted this franchise for years. Play it safe. Protect the veteran. Delay the future. It's a recipe the Browns have used before. It's also why they haven't had a long-term answer at quarterback in decades. And unless something changes, unless Stefanski finally faces reality and stops prioritizing comfort over competitiveness, they're about to waste yet another one. So what do you think? Has Kevin Stefanski already blown his shot by ignoring Shedeur Sanders? Is it too late to salvage the season, or should the Browns make the QB change now? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of football's biggest coaching blunders, quarterback controversies, and NFL meltdowns. Because as long as teams keep choosing chaos over common sense, we'll be here, week after week, telling it exactly how it is. This is no longer just about poor quarterback play. This is about leadership paralysis. Because when a head coach looks at 6 interceptions, 8 turnovers, and a complete offensive collapse, and still decides to keep the same guy under center, that's not loyalty. That's denial. And denial doesn't win games in the NFL. Joe Flacco has had 4 games. For games to prove he can stabilize this team, move the ball, and at least function as a stopgap until the Browns figure out their long-term quarterback situation. What he's proven instead is that time is undefeated, and unfortunately, time has already beaten him. Let's revisit the facts, not feelings. Flacco has more turnovers than touchdowns. His pocket presence is gone. His deep ball accuracy is inconsistent. He can't extend plays. He's putting the ball in harm's way at a league-leading rate, and he's not being pressured into these mistakes. He's making them all on his own. The offensive line isn't great, sure, but it's not the only problem. And it's not an excuse for this level of quarterback dysfunction. So the question isn't whether a change should happen. The question is, why hasn't it already? Because it's not like the Browns are out of options. They have 2 young quarterbacks sitting right there, both with something to prove, both with upside, and both getting absolutely no opportunity. Dylan Gabriel should have seen the field weeks ago. And Shedeur Sanders? He should be at least in uniform. Instead, the Browns have committed to a strategy of slow decay, pretending that sticking with a veteran is some form of stability. But what's stable about 34-10 losses? What's stable about losing the locker room? What's stable about wasting yet another season of defensive dominance? This isn't stability. This is stagnation dressed up in a lanyard and headset. And here's where the regret sets in. Kevin Stefanski has reached that all-too-familiar point, the moment where his loyalty to a system, to a scheme, to a player becomes his greatest liability. It's the same trap so many coaches fall into. They think sticking to the plan shows strength, that doubling down means conviction. But sometimes it just means stubbornness. And right now, that stubbornness is dragging the Browns down. Let's not gloss over what's at stake here. This roster isn't a rebuild project. It's not a bottom feeder. It's not a group of rookies learning the ropes. This team has playoff-caliber personnel, and they're being let down week after week by a quarterback who shouldn't even be starting, let alone playing 4 quarters. That sends a message, and it's not a good one. To the fans, we're not serious about winning. To the players, performance doesn't matter. To the young quarterbacks, your time will never come, no matter how bad things get. What's worse is the ripple effect. When your defense is playing elite-level football and watching the offense hand the ball right back to the other team, that breaks trust. That breaks motivation. That breaks teams. You can only ask a defense to carry the entire burden for so long before they start questioning why they're even bothering. And in the NFL, that fracture happens fast. Suddenly, it's not just about the quarterback. It's about locker room cohesion. It's about morale. It's about accountability. And if Stefanski keeps pretending this is just a rough patch, that fracture is going to become a full-on collapse. So here we are, a team with the potential to compete, imploding because the coaching staff refuses to adapt. What exactly are they afraid of? Is it that Dylan Gabriel might struggle? That Shedeur Sanders might make rookie mistakes? Because again, Joe Flacco is already doing that. This isn't a high bar. The Browns aren't asking for greatness. They're asking for competence, for growth, for a future. And right now, they're getting none of it. Let's talk about Shedeur for a second, because he's not just another rookie. He's a quarterback who knows the spotlight, who's thrived under pressure, who's put up elite college numbers in a high-profile program, who's coached by his father, Deion Sanders, one of the most competitive, demanding football minds in the sport. This isn't some unpolished day 3 project. Shedeur has NFL-ready traits, pocket presence, accuracy, confidence, leadership, and he's not even on the field. He's not even in uniform. He's watching a team burn down from the sideline, probably wondering what else needs to go wrong before someone hands him a helmet. Let's be clear. Sanders isn't a guaranteed savior. No rookie is. But that's not the point. The point is that he might be, that he deserves a chance to try. That the Browns, if they care about the future, need to stop pretending the situation is fixable with Flacco. Because it's not. The season is already tilting off the rails. If you don't give your rookies reps now, when will you? And it's not just about 2025. It's about 2026 and beyond. If the Browns want to build something sustainable, they have to know what they have in these quarterbacks. That doesn't happen in practice. That doesn't happen in preseason. It happens under the lights, in real games, with real stakes. That's how you build a franchise quarterback. That's how you rebuild trust. And let's be honest, the fans deserve it. They've sat through enough experiments, enough false hope, enough wait-and-see years that turn into try again next year. And now, they're watching a team with actual talent implode. Not because they lack options, but because the coaching staff refuses to use them. It's insulting, it's frustrating, and it's fixable. But only if Kevin Stefanski decides to take the wheel and actually drive. Start Dylan Gabriel. If he can't handle it, fine, then you move to Sanders. But you cannot keep sending out a quarterback who's actively hurting your chances of winning every single week. Because that's not coaching. That's tanking by indecision. And whether Stefanski wants to admit it or not, the clock is ticking. Ownership is watching. The locker room is watching. The fans are watching. And the longer he waits, the less control he has over the narrative. This is the kind of decision that defines a coaching career. Will Kevin Stefanski be remembered as the coach who finally gave Cleveland its quarterback of the future? Or the guy who stuck with the wrong one until it was too late? We're about to find out. What started as a bold, maybe even justifiable decision to lean on veteran stability has now unraveled into full-blown chaos. A 34-10 loss to the Lions wasn't just a bad day. It was a televised implosion, a low-light reel for a season teetering on the edge of collapse. And front and center in that disaster was Joe Flacco. Again, let's go ahead and say what everyone else is thinking. It should have never come to this. Flacco has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. He's coughed up the ball 8 times in 4 games. That's not rust. That's not a timing issue. That's a quarterback who is flat out done, and a coaching staff that's pretending not to notice. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with the upside to confidence, the elite college production, is collecting dust on the depth chart. Still inactive. Still not given a chance. Still being treated like some long-term experiment, while the team burns down in real time. It's not just bad optics. It's organizational malpractice. And it's not like Stefanski doesn't know what's happening. He's watching the same film we are. He's seeing the same turnovers, the same stagnant drives, the same red zone nightmares. So what's the excuse? Is it fear? Is it pride? Is it some misplaced belief that Flacco can pull off a career renaissance at 38, behind a busted offensive line, in a league that moves twice as fast as it did when he last mattered? Because whatever it is, it's costing them. A lot. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The longer this goes on, the harder it is to recover. Not just from a standings perspective. From a culture perspective, players are watching this unfold. They're grinding on defense, giving their all to keep the team competitive, only that Flacco hand the ball back to the opponent like it's a holiday gift. They're standing on the sidelines, knowing there are 2 young QBs ready to go, and wondering why no one has given them a shot. That's how locker rooms fracture. And then there's the fan base. Cleveland fans have endured everything. Bad drafts, bad trades, bad coaches, bad quarterbacks. And just when it felt like the team was starting to figure things out, Stefanski doubled down on the past instead of betting on the future. It's demoralizing. Because for once, the Browns have the kind of defense that can carry a team into the playoffs. They have weapons on offense. They have just enough talent to make noise if they could just get competent quarterback play. Not elite, not heroic, just functional. And instead, they're rolling out Flacco like it's a tribute act to the 2012 Ravens. Let's be honest about what Shedeur Sanders represents. Hope. He's not just a rookie with potential. He's a player who wants the ball, who believes in his ability, who's told the world he can outplay current NFL starters. And based on what we've seen, that's not arrogance. That's probably true. You don't complete 74% of your passes in college, throw for 37 touchdowns, and show NFL-level poise in pressure situations just to sit behind a quarterback who can't go 2 drives without a turnover. Shedeur has the pedigree, the arm talent, the leadership traits. And even if he's not ready to be a superstar out of the gate, he's ready enough to get reps, to learn, to make mistakes that actually mean something. Let's say the Browns stick to plan and roll with Dillon Gabriel first. Fine, test him. He's earned it too. But if Gabriel falters and you're still refusing to turn to Sanders, that's not patience. That's stubbornness. And Kevin Stefanski's running out of time to justify it. Because here's the bottom line. This team isn't rebuilding. It's not some 4-13 roster trying to figure itself out. This team has expectations. It has urgency. It has playoff caliber pieces, which makes the quarterback position and Stefanski's unwillingness to fix it all the more frustrating. How much longer can you ask your defense to hold the line while the offense gives games away? How much longer can you ask fans to believe in a plan that involves watching a 38-year-old QB unravel while 2 rookies rot? How much longer can you call this development when the only thing growing is public outrage? Let's be clear. This is not just about Shedeur Sanders versus Joe Flacco. This is about philosophy. Are the Browns a team that's willing to adapt, to take risks, to invest in the future? Or are they the same old franchise, afraid to embrace change, even as everything around them collapses? The coaching staff keeps saying it's about what gives us the best chance to win. But what does that even mean anymore? Because if the answer is Flacco, that logic has already failed repeatedly. And if the answer is, let's just wait until we're mathematically eliminated, then congratulations. You officially made the same mistake teams like the Jets, Panthers, and Raiders have made for decades. Waiting too long to pivot. Protecting a plan that isn't working. Hoping things will magically improve. Spoiler, they won't. If Sanders had gone out there and thrown 3 interceptions, people would understand. That's what rookies do. But at least it would mean the team is trying to move forward. Right now, they're not even doing that. So where does it go from here? If Stefanski sticks with Flacco again, especially after the Detroit disaster, it's not just a bad call. It's a willful refusal to lead. It's putting ego over execution. And when that happens, coaches lose locker rooms. Fast. You can feel the pressure building from inside and outside the building. The media is relentless. Fans are furious. Players are frustrated. Ownership is watching. And Shedeur? He's waiting. Waiting for his shot. Waiting to prove he can do what Flacco can't. Waiting for someone, anyone, to believe in the way he clearly believes in himself. And if they don't act soon, they'll miss the window. Again. So let's ask it one last time. Browns fans, are you done waiting? Has this gone too far? Is Shedeur Sanders the spark this team needs? Or has Stefanski already fumbled this opportunity beyond repair? Drop your take in the comments and make sure you're subscribed, because we're not letting go of this story. Not until Cleveland finally wakes up and makes the change the entire football world is waiting for.